My name is Roshan Walsh and I'm a fourth year early childhood care and education student. For my intercultural practice project, I decided I would interview a girl I worked with while on placement in Brussels in Belgium. Danielle was from Pennsylvania in America and she did her internship in the International School of Brussels, where I did my placement for 4 months. I got in touch with Danielle for a Skype interview, where I asked her a series of questions about her experiences living abroad for a year. Throughout this slideshow, I will be referring back to the questions answered by Danielle and how they tied in with the theory of intercultural practice. The theories I will discuss will be cultural memory, identity, cultural shock, and cultural borrowing. A memory, at first glance, seems like something stuck in our past, something that is only to happen once and has been stopped in time, where in fact, a memory has 3 parts to it. It is evoked at the present, it refers to the past, and it always views the future. Egyptologist Jan Assmann defines a type of memory called communication memory. This is the ability to spread over a wide area or over a large group a transmission of memories through thought and through verbal expressions to a society where literacy is unfamiliar. Danielle felt she experienced this, but she found it difficult in the beginning, moving from one extreme to another, to be able to communicate and share her memories from her life in America, such as autobiographical and personal memories. She found Brussels was too fast-moving and different from her quiet hometown to be able to communicate with anybody personally. Another type of memory is cultural memory. This is formed by symbolic heritage embodied in texts, rites, monuments, celebrations, and other media. Danielle felt on certain American celebration days, such as Thanksgiving, she found it difficult to explain the importance. This made her feel more singled out. Cultural memory closely intertwines with identity, as cultural memory has symbolic heritage that all individuals has to build their own sense of identity and can confirm themselves as part of a group. Jean Assmann says cultural memory is the faculty that allows us to build a narrative picture of the past, and through this process, develop an image and identify ourselves. Danielle found it difficult to associate herself with the group in the beginning. She compared it to when she lived in Pennsylvania. She knew people in the streets and in all the shops, but in Brussels it was much different. Even in her local bakery, they wouldn't ever start a conversation with her or be friendly toward her. She found it difficult to form a group and found that she didn't succeed and felt she couldn't be proud of her sense of identity while in Brussels, except with the people she worked with. She found it difficult though with these co-workers because it was a friendship not based on a personal level. Danielle felt at the beginning of the year that she lost a small part of her identity. Individuals collect their memories through socialization, and Danielle felt, besides her co-workers, that she was struggling to adapt. As she was not socializing properly with this new culture, she found that for a while she stopped celebrating national holidays. One way in which Danielle would express herself was through photographs. Pictures stimulate memories, and Danielle felt looking at the pictures from her home would remind her of her culture, even if she was slowly adapting to this new culture here in Brussels. She also brought these photos in with her to show her class and share with the children. Danielle also had souvenirs from home and objects. Objects are important for the continuance of her cultural memory and for her identity. Objects have an important place in life as they remind a person back to a distant time or place. They act as a survival sign of events or places. Having these made her feel more connected to America. Over Danielle's year in Brussels, she did admit to feeling culture shock for the first while. Cohen Emmerich, an academic psychologist, developed a framework for understanding intercultural communication. She says there are 3 stages: understanding cultural shock, understanding the cultural system, and effective interaction. Emmerich speaks about the shocks that can be caused by someone from a different cultural background behaving in a situation where personal interaction is required. They include attitudes about body image, family structure, rules of social interaction, and religion. Danielle felt culture shock when it came to the nightlife in Brussels. Coming from a small town, Brussels nightlife is very busy, and clubs will stay open till 8 a.m. Therefore, the streets and the nighttime was a very busy scene, and she found it very hard to adjust. but after a while she had to teach herself to understand that this is the culture there. Another theory relating to Danielle's experience was cultural borrowing. Cultural borrowing occurs when one's culture practices are performed by those who would not be considered part of their culture. The reasons vary as to why cultural borrowing occurs, but it is not uncommon. There are different types of cultures, and they are the following: shared cultures, where members of a particular society have their culture in common; patron culture, when a society live and think in the same way; and symbolic, when those in a particular culture have shared understanding of the meaning. The culture relating to Danielle's experience is a learned culture. This is through the process called enculturation. Acculturation is the process of learning one's cultures, as culture is not just absorbed, but rather it is taught and learned by individuals. While living in Brussels, Danielle found herself adapting certain parts of the Belgian culture. She found she was beginning to dress the same and eating their native foods, which were waffles, chocolate, and fries. Belgium is quite famous for its junk food, which Danielle learned after living there for quite a while. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope it was some interest to you. Talking to Danielle, she did speak about feeling homesick and not part of the culture, but she also said it was an amazing experience to live in this other culture and to learn so much. Thank you very much for listening.